Alright, I've never done a video like this, but I've been wanting to do this video for a bit. This is Lack and Lotus's video. I should be shouting him out because he literally has like 1,000 times more subscribers than I do. This is Lack and Lotus's video of him playing John on Tempest in his private servers, and I like watching Lacken. I've been watching him for, honestly, probably a few months now, and nobody, to my knowledge, nobody is really given true insight on how to, like, you know, play John Doe on Tempest. And the thing with John Doe is that he's a good killer, but, like, he's only one of the best if, you know, you're good with him, and that's how it works for every killer. But John Doe really is, in my opinion, like, arguably the best killer. Like, once you master him, he really is the best killer in the game, especially on Tempest. Lacken has said many times that he needs to learn how to play Tempest and just learn how to go against certain spots. This isn't me, just a disclaimer, this isn't a video of me like, oh, saying I'm my fucking face cam. This isn't a video of me being like, oh, I'm better than Lacken, or I'm such a perfect player, I'm giving tips, or, you know, I make mistakes too. I mean, even though most of my mistakes, me just missing 1,000 M1s, we don't talk about that, but I just want to give some tips, the things that Lacken is doing wrong, and I want people to understand too that I don't even know if I would server wipe this lobby, honestly, because Lacken does not play in easy lobbies. This isn't a pub lobby, this is his viewers, this is a private server, and his servers just fucking, they don't hate him, but in a sense they do, because I think his latest video, there was a yourself builderman fucking having a Roblox avatar of Taff, and it looked like he was chasing Taff, but it was a builderman, but his yourself skin is Taff, and his chat is just evil. His private servers are just evil. But with the exception of, even though this is a good server, this game is survivor-sided, and even John Doe on the best map in the game against literally the best team in the game, John Doe's not even winning once. But obviously this isn't the best lobby in the game, and even if it, honestly, with how survivor-sided this game is, even if it may not be possible to maybe server wipe sometimes, he could definitely probably, I would even probably go as far as maybe even 5-6 Ks on average literally every time he goes Tempest. But one thing I do disagree with, I don't think he should be banning 07 and Guess. I fully understand why. I fully understand why he bans 07, because 07 just clears footprints, just gives you no map control. You need map control. That's how, you know, how John Doe plays. Well, I do understand why he bans them. You can't be doing that because you have to just know how to go against them and just get better and learn. But once again, just know, I'm not a perfect player either. I'm not saying I'm better than anyone. I'm just simply giving tips because, you know, as hard, John Doe's already technically like the hardest killer to play out of all the killers, and if you struggle to play his literal best map, good luck. I'm not gonna be going over like just killer mistakes because that just comes with time, and that's not like a John Doe thing. My whole point is just to critique mistakes, specifically with John Doe on Tempest. But anyway, let's go on with the video and see what he could, I'm gonna just say what he could be doing different.
So I can't hear anything, all right?
Okay, so there's nothing really wrong with this footprint, but it is much different.
You're like, oh my god, why is it?
It is way more different. I don't know if you can see my cursor. It is way different from this footprint and putting a footprint right here where the gen is. Once again, this footprint's not bad, but he could be placing a different footprint. Hold on, let me show. All right, I'm in game to show better visually, but the difference between this footprint and this footprint is actually a lot bigger than you think. Because if I put a footprint here, like, sure, the whole point of this footprint is to obviously block off, you know, this loop and maybe this little thing, even though this little thing kind of sucks anyway. You usually just kind of want to put your footprint here. I mean, it's a little better in this case because the gen is right here, but even then, like, for example, like, obviously you just came from, you know, killer spawn. If I start chase over here, it's way more convenient for me to just in mid chase run around this and then maybe loop back around to this or go back over here. Once again, this footprint isn't bad, but it is a little bit of a waste of a spot because this footprint is just a little bit better. The survivor is now able to pretend this footprint isn't here, just be able to run through this, and they can now run around this little thing. And this isn't a good loop by any chance, but it's a good thing to run around like when you're in mid chase. And plus, this footprint doesn't really do all that much anyway. Like, sure, it blocks off this little thing, but this little loop is not good. It's very easy to double back. It's very easy to fake a movement. It's not a good loop. The only real thing you're doing with this footprint is kind of just blocking out this little loop, which is a pretty decent loop. So once again, not a terrible spot at all. It's just this footprint spot is just better, especially if there is a gen right here. It's just even better if there is a gen right here. Okay, in this situation, this was more of a Dusakar mistake than a you mistake. You didn't make a mistake here because he made a mistake, so it didn't really matter. But when somebody's on this loop, you kind of want to send your spikes through the little L shape and the statue and have your spikes go over to where the staircase is. That way they have literally nowhere to go. This was more of a Dusakar mistake because his positioning is just kind of interesting. Like, instead of going over to the statue, or like instead of just being at the statue over here, he kind of just stands here and then does a weird movement this way, and you hit him with spikes, get your speed, and you zone him. But every time, literally every time you spike here, even if it seems like that they're probably going to stay within this little wall, you always want to send your spikes this way, like straight, and make sure it goes through the L wall and the statue right here. Because in a different world, if he pre-runs and runs this way, he can literally start looping the statue, or even go to the little dead zone over here. You don't have spikes anymore. And he messed up so much to where it made it seem like your spikes were like really good, which they weren't bad spikes, but you could have done better spikes. Okay. This is a really weird spike spot. Usually you actually don't want to spike here. So you spike here. These spikes are, we'll see. You'll see why these aren't that great. I don't remember this part, but
they can just go here. Like, not much I can do about that.
So right here. So your spikes, all they did was cut off. Well, they cut off a bit, but the survivor here can still get a pretty decent chase, because this is a little check spot right here, and though you could maybe bait a drop and get him to drop and you just double back and get an M1, this isn't the best spikes you could throw down. Like, all you really closed off was just being able to run over to this little torch over here and running off the stairs. So now it's almost just a regular chase. He can just stand here right at this check spot and just wait for you to run this way. He'll drop down. It's a good chase anyway, because he takes fall fatigue or whatever, fall slowness, but you could have spiked it better. Basically, like 90%, 100% of the time, like, can John Doe shut up? I turned off my audio. Sorry, geez. Like I was saying, 100% of the time, like, the survivor goes over here, they should be dead. Or not even, maybe they won't die, but like, they're taking at least 1 to 2 M1s, and they're gonna be so cooked if nobody helps them. Basically, your problem is that you're standing here and spiking. You should honestly be standing right here and spiking, because in your situation, they're able to drop down this. Like, this will be blocked off, which is kind of whatever, but like, they're able to drop down this. If you stand here and spike, usually what I do, you can just kind of do a little something like this, and they're absolutely cooked. They can't drop down, they can't go this way, they can't even go to these loops over here. You are completely dead. Another problem with why you shouldn't stand here when spiking is because anyone that stands over here and you spike way back there, they can just pre-run all the way and go all the way over here. Obviously, depending on where they're standing, like if they're standing way back here, they're probably not gonna be able to pre-run all the way to this statue right here. But point being is that you stand here, you're kind of like forced to make your spikes go all the way like this, which kind of just defeat the whole purpose of the spike anyway, because they could just not pre-run over here, and they can just do what happened to you, and they can just stay over here and just drop and then just start a normal chase. They can't go over there, obviously. They pre-run into you, you're up stamina, so you can just M1 and kill them. So yeah, basically, like, your spikes wasn't like the worst thing, but you can do way better spikes by sending your spikes like I just showed over here, and they will not be able to drop down. They're literally gonna have to run back into you. And if they, once again, like I said, if they pre-run, you're just up stamina. And while the chase start is still pretty alright, you could definitely much more secure in isolation and just probably get at least 1 to 2 M1s in. And I didn't even realize this guy was 36 HP, so honestly, this guy was cooks if you got the spike off that I got, or that I showed you. But yeah, this guy should be dead, unless he gets teamwork and just slashes.
Hello, Chance.
Or that just happens.
I saw... I can spike.
Stop doing this. I actually forgot that you usually do this, that you spike this. The thing with spiking this is that there's not really a point. You have a footprint over to the right over here. If they run over to these little loops, you can spike them off, which I'll show you in a bit how you would like correctly spike off the little mini loops. But even if you get a spike to the left over here and this guy over here doesn't pre-run to get past in time, like, they're stuck anyway, because over here, this is a whole dead zone. The right over here, there should be a footprint over here, especially because you banned 07, so 07's not going to clear it, or no one's going to clear it, so they're pretty much zoned to the right over here. You shouldn't be spiking this because it's kind of just a waste, because they're essentially zoned anyway. There's no good loops over here. The loop that everyone plays against every other killer, like, you know, Slasher, Noli, Cool Kid, whatever, that's why John Doe's so good on this map, because this footprint just blocks out this entire God loop, one of the best loops in the game. It's already zoned, and you're essentially wasting your spikes by at least doing it here, because I'll show you in a bit. You could spike, do much better spikes up here once you force them to go into this little area over here that you have a footprint, but... And it didn't even matter because you got like I said, the sheds are gonna be a problem and just counting your spikes anyway. But let me show you how you would correctly go against that spot. As usual, it's Tempest. You literally always have a footprint here unless someone clears it or somebody already stepped in it and you didn't really have time to just go and place a footprint. But you have this footprint here. Basically, when somebody goes over here, don't even spike unless they're already running over here, like, as you're resetting. They're already over here. You literally just chase them, force them to go through here. And the reason you're probably like, why don't you spike here? Because sure, you do close this off, like if you go like this, or even do like a little curve spike more that way. Like sure, yes, you do close this off. You close off this entire thing and they can only go this way. But there's no point because you're closing them off to go from an area where there's a footprint. And sure, they have these mini loops, but one thing you also could do with these mini loops, you could stand here, make your spikes go like this, and there's absolutely nothing for why I did it wrong. But basically, you make your spike go through this mini loop, and this mini loop, and they have absolutely nowhere to go. They can only go to these stupid little ass torches. All these mini loops, even if you don't spike them off, these suck. The best mini loop here is this, and once again, like I just showed, you can just spike through them. If they go in here, they're absolutely cooked. Unless they get crazy teamwork, Deuce shows up here and fucking beams, shields, whatever. Unless they get crazy teamwork, which will probably happen because they can survivor sided and you can just counter so many things. But the only time I could see being spiking this would be okay is if you just for some reason don't have a footprint over there and you just couldn't really find the downtime to place over there, which is reasonable. So that's the only time where you would actually spike this, if you just don't have a footprint over there and you would curve it like this. If they for some reason try to pre-run this way, then like you just gain stamina, you just reset chase. This little thing sucks. This is not a good loop right here. So they try to go here, you can just raw dog the chase. Don't even spike this here. Keep that in mind. It's not worth it. Though you can spike through this and zone this. Like you already have a zone if you have a footprint over there. It's a different story if you don't have the footprint, but you did. So
You're isolated from the teammates.
alright, you're gonna spike this correctly because usually when you spike this, you kind of want to stand over here, actually. I mean, you don't have to. It really doesn't matter. You could spike like this and then like curve it over to the wall way over here. Or you could just spike it into this back wall over here. And honestly, unless this builder gets insane help, this guy's dead. I don't know why this guy is over here. And he ran out. Like I said, you should have honestly stood here or just like curve your spikes a lot more and just make it to this wall because this guy would be dead 1000% of the time. You should be able to just commit chase here though because you have speed. You've got stun though. You have a footprint over here. There's like no loops for him to play over here. So spike. Okay, so he's gonna pre-run you here probably. All right, so in that situation, honestly, don't spike like this because you kind of cut yourself off a little bit. I mean, you could just take this killer doors, so it's not the worst thing in the world. Like, it's fine, but he pre-ran you. Honestly, you probably could have sent your spikes. It's kind of blurry, but where this thing goes over here and block this off, but he had to run back into you. You got speed, you hit him. In that situation, when you get pre-ran like that, you should honestly probably try to hit your spikes more than zone because you get speed and you cut them off, but I don't hate the spike. Well, now I hate it. You should have just made your spikes go through this little thing because, once again, even if she pre-runs and goes to the right over here, these mini loops suck. Like I've said already, there's a footprint over there. She's zoned, and you can honestly just spike this over here. I also would have spiked this little left alcove rather than the right. All right. You're spiking a bit far back here, but if you're going to spike here, make sure you hit this corner and make sure you spike all the way through to where the staircase is over here and where the drop down is, so that way he can't just run over there. Which you did, so nice. So this is a good chase right here. I lied. Yeah, so your problem here was, honestly, I've never stood there and spiked because there's not really a reason you should be standing against the wall, but you just spiked from way too far back here. That actually would have reached had you just stand on this little corner right here and done the exact same thing.
Would I do something like this? Wait, no, you could totally fall on these spikes. Don't ask what I'm doing. I'm trying.
Yeah, okay, so at this little thing right here, if you stand at the very bottom of the stairs or even just like a little higher, maybe in the middle of the stairs, like a little bit higher up the stairs, you can send your spikes all the way to, I need to go back. You can send your spikes like from this right here all the way to the wall over here and it will zone because now they're forced to just run back into you or drop and run back into you. But any good player will just drop and just pre-run and just run to the right. So in this situation over here at the stairs, you either just spike from the bottom of the stairs and send them all the way to the wall because it does close it off completely, or you just raw dog to chase because they shouldn't be going over here anyway against John Doe because they take, or really against literally any killer, but like they take fall slowness or fall fatigue here and you should win the chase. You can just raw dog to chase, you have full stamina, and little thing here too. If you, because the way you spike, like, he could just fall on that, but if you spike from the bottom of the stairs here and, go to the wall, you can bait a drop here, like, just do a little sprint up the stairs and make the survivor drop. Then you could go around over here, and you could definitely get in an M1 or two over here, and every time you M1, like, you just run back, so that way they don't abuse hit speed boost to get out of distance. But I think from here, like, he makes mistakes, but it's, like, the same mistakes I've already covered, so I think that's all I'm gonna do for this video. Once again, this is not, like, something nothing that's directed at Lacken, or it's like, oh, he's so bad, so he needs tips. I'm just simply, I hate it when people get down and on John Doe, especially because when you master John Doe, he's just really good, even in some good lobbies like this. I don't know why. I've been seeing less John Does than Nosferatus. Like, I've been seeing more Nosferatus than Johns. I don't know if it's because people find John really bad, or they just don't want to play him, or they find him too hard to play. I don't know what the case is, but I know Lacken is on, like, some sort of, like, I guess a John Doe arc. I don't know if he actually is, but I didn't do it overall, like, Lacken, this is how you play John Doe, because he already knows how to play John Doe. Like, yes, he does still struggle, like, with what to spike on other maps, but like I just want to do specifically for Tempest because Tempest is literally John Doe's best map, and in private servers, honestly, like probably almost the only map you're gonna win with your viewers, because John Doe is just really broken on Tempest unless it's just a really insane team. But my storage just died, so yay, there's that. But I also just got kind of annoyed at Lacken's chat where they're just like, oh, just go for Elliot or spread damage. Oh, your spikes suck. Or like they just say something stupid and don't actually like give good tips. They just basically do the normal Forsaken community, you're just bad and not know how to actually, you know, give advice. But I don't know if I'm gonna do it. I put a poll for it. I don't even know if it's gonna get a lot of votes, but I'm gonna do a full John Doe guide just because I feel like John Doe is just extremely underrated, because I know just because I don't see people play John Doe, that doesn't necessarily mean that nobody actually plays John Doe. Maybe there is a lot of John Doe players, but I've lately just not been seeing it really any John Does at all. Hopefully Lacken somehow sees this. I'll tag him. I don't know how he would see this, because I mean, where the leagues is just so much further apart, but hopefully this helped. Obviously I'm not a perfect player. I'm not saying that I'll server wipe this easily, or then like I'm so much better and I'll just kill everyone with ease and I'm better than Lacken. No, I'm just simply just giving tips. This is just also for fun. Once again, hopefully this helped. No proper outro, sadly, but I'll catch y'all in the next video. Peace.